This week's episode will be Halloween, spooky edition, where I talk about all things scary, like chiropractors. I'm kidding, but I am going to talk about my thoughts on manipulations, adjustments, and chiropractors in general. Hi, I'm Jeffrey, physical therapist for 7 years, and I actually hit my 7th year this week. More on that next video. Welcome to Life of a Taiwanese PT living in Houston. This week's topic was actually inspired by one of my patients. And just like all professions, there are good and bad chiropractors. Chiropractic care is not always non-evidence-based, and physical therapy is not automatically evidence-based. There are treatments that are more effective, have longer lasting impact than others based on the research and evidence. I just want people to be more informed and be able to make informed decisions themselves. My PSA is don't crack your neck, whether you're doing it yourself or you're having someone doing it to you, like chiropractors. And PTs can also crack necks as well. In my opinion, the risk is just not worth the biscuit, even if it's slim to none. Also, the biscuit from getting cracked is usually just short-term relief compared to other treatments that may be more helpful long-term. I know manipulation of the cervical spine or neck is very unlikely to cause vertebral artery dissection, VAD, which is what some people are afraid of. It is basically a tear, a dissection in the vertebral artery that runs through the neck, and if severe, potentially it can result in a stroke. There are some evidence showing some association between cervical manipulation, so cracking the neck, and VAD, vertebral artery dissection. But even that is still very low, very unlikely. People with VAD might not even know they have it, and they might not even exhibit some of the symptoms. So some of the common symptoms are headaches, neck pain, dizziness, and all those are things that people go to chiropractors for as well. So just gotta be careful. I will go see a physician if you have some of those symptoms and maybe requires additional testing, and especially if you have neurological symptoms. Since being a PT for 7 years, I have seen 3 cases of strokes from VAD. 2 of them were reportedly from after visiting the chiropractor, and one of them was from self-cracking, who I saw this week. The patient told me he cracked his neck a bit too hard, and immediately he felt some tingling numbness down the left side of his body, all the way down to the legs. And to this day, he says he still hasn't fully recovered. He still has weakness on that side. And I know these are anecdotes, patient stories, but one person is enough to convince me not to do it, especially if the benefit is not worth the risk. Bottom line is, if you crack your neck, I would really try to do it less or try to stop completely. And I know it's hard to get rid of bad habits, but there's just no benefits to it. And if you go to the chiropractor, I will recommend asking to not be cracked at the neck. Everything else, everywhere else should be fine. And that's my 2 cents. Monday after work, I come home to some catfish cooked by my wife. And we got some soup. And the secret ingredient is to have some dried onions on top of the fish. It's delicious. And if you're wondering what the brand is, there's this Taiwanese spot inside Jesco Market where we will go and pack the food there for meal preps on Thursday and Fridays. One of my favorite dish from there is a ji pai fan. So basically chicken fillet over rice, but there's also some sides, cabbage, Chinese sausage, and the egg. Funny enough, it's called Mama Wu's. It's Saturday morning and I'm about to volunteer at this HAPS event, Houston Area Parkinson's Society. They invited me out to help out for their fall festival. It's called No Fall Festival. So a bunch of different stations, and they go through like screening for falls and educating people on fall prevention for people with Parkinson's. The event lasted 2 hours and it was actually pretty busy throughout. We had over 100 people come through the station, and before I knew it, it was lunchtime. I was in charge of the strength testing station, which was the 5 times sit to stand. So we will time to see how long it takes, and there's a sheet of paper that will write their score on the side. It compares them to the fall risk score. So anything greater than 16 seconds, they're at higher risk for falls. And at the bottom, there's like a QR code. They can scan it for additional exercise videos they can watch to help with lower body strengthening. So we hand that to them afterwards. The lunch they provided for the therapist appreciation was pretty good. They got some healthy wraps, but it was just not enough food for me. So I swung by Cane's afterwards for like a after lunch snack. The prices at Cane's is ridiculous. I remember when the Caniac was a little bit less than 10 bucks. Now it's $15.99. Then late Saturday afternoon, we had my friend Charlotte's Halloween party. And my wife and I, this year, we dressed up as Squirtle and Bulbasaur from Pokemon. And I have blue jeans on for the legs, and I'm wearing a tan shirt because the bottom of the shell is supposed to be tan. Charlotte went all out on their Halloween decorations, outside, inside. I got a couple clips. It was a good time catching up, hanging out with some of my coworkers there as well. Then later that night, we came back home and we met up with my wife's friends to play some pickleball late night to cap it off. It was definitely exhausting at the end of the night, but it was worth it, spending some fun quality time with people. Sunday for lunch, we ate at this bolognese place that my wife was raving about. It's basically steak cubes with egg and other things, and then with the baguette, the bread, and you can dip it in that paste. I don't know what's in it, but all that combination was pretty good. I would say that was the best bolognese place in Houston for me. So that's some high praise. Afterwards, we went to a new Trader Joe's that opened near where we live, and it was pretty packed. It was grand opening weekend, and we've got a couple things there. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's vlog. If you guys made it this far, might as well give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching, and click here to watch my last vlog where I was pretty stressed out and I almost quit.